Still to come on Mountain News this morning, we tell you about some of the tribute events for Memorial Day that went on this weekend and others that are still to come. We also have a heartwarming story about a veteran who was not able to make the honor flight this year, so officials made special arrangements for him. And for those of you who are planning on hitting the water today or anytime this summer, we have some tips on how you can have fun and stay safe.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6:32 on Monday, May the 27th, Memorial Day. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning into Mountain News this morning. Well, if you're getting ready to head out for whatever you're doing today, you're going to want to be ready for some humidity, some heat, and maybe a little bit of fog this morning. Brandon's in here to tell us exactly what to expect on this Memorial Day. Brandon, good morning.
Good morning, my friend. The Dream Team is here to keep you company on this Memorial Day morning, so keep that in mind as you travel this morning. If you have to travel early, that he's right. Fog and humidity is going to smack you in the face as soon as you walk out the door. Let's take a look at Stonecrest Golf Course this morning in Floyd County, and you can see fog on the greens there off in the distance. Up the Mountain Parkway at Slade, also seeing that up that way. A lot of the interstates reporting fog. You see Moorhead there at 3 miles. We're looking at Williamsburg at 0 visibility, so that's I-64, that's I-75, and that's the Mountain Parkway in a lot of areas. Also seeing that US 119, US 23, so be careful this morning across the area. Hal Rogers Parkway too. Temperatures in the 60s area wide, and we're going to see temperatures only get into the mid to upper 80s today. And I say only mid to upper 80s because we're going to see some cloud cover this morning, and that will keep us from warming up like we have over the last few days. I'll have the rest of the forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. An annual event designed to help the Shriners Children's Hospital in Lexington took place on Sunday. As WYMT's Marianne Fletcher tells us, two great organizations teamed up for a fun-filled afternoon.
Many people ride for a special reason.
I personally do it in memory of my son, who I lost several years ago.
Make that two special reasons for Larry Thacker.
If we collect $10, all $10 of it is going to make it all the way to Lexington Crippled Children's Hospital.
Thacker Memorial teamed up with Hillbilly Christmas in July to raise money for Shriners Hospitals for Children.
I'm a Shriner myself.
Denver Thompson is also a veteran.
I was in Vietnam 68, 69.
Thankful, Thompson is happy to be part of the 5th annual Memorial Day Ride for Life.
I'm happy to see them come out. There was a time they didn't care about a Vietnam veteran.
More than 75 riders participated.
Everyone's looking for an avenue to express their grief and their loss.
And at the end of the day, more than $5,000 will go to the hospital,
which will break all of our records that we've done in the past.
Giving children at the Shriners Hospital completely free medical care.
There's still so many wonderful people out in this world.
In Pike County, Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, Thacker Memorial will also host an annual flag dedication at 1 this afternoon.
We all have one thing in common. We stood the watch. And that's what binds us together till the day we die. We stood the watch.
Welcome home, Pete.
Welcome home, Brad.
That was actors Dennis Haysbert and Joe Mantegna paying tribute to Vietnam veterans Brad Kennedy and Ernest Pete Peterson during last night's National Memorial Day concert on PBS. It was the 30th year for the annual event, which takes place at the U.S. Capitol on Memorial Day weekend. One of the many speakers and entertainers at the event was former Secretary of State and retired four-star Army General Colin Powell. He had a special message for those in attendance.
For those veterans who are still hurting, they need to know that it is okay to reach out and get help, that things can get better. And it is also time to say with heartfelt emotion the words that were not heard all those years ago. We thank you, and we are here for you. You served us with honor. Now it's our turn to honor you.
More than 300,000 people attended last night's event to honor the military service of all of our men and women in uniform, their families and service members that paid the ultimate sacrifice. Well, bikers are rolling into Washington, D.C. one last time for the annual Rolling Thunder Motorcycle Rally. For 31 years, every Memorial Day weekend, thousands of bikers have ridden into the nation's capital. However, costs and logistics will bring the national rally to an end. Even with all the sight and spectacle of the parade of bikes, Rolling Thunder started and continues to be a protest demonstration. Each ride year after year is about accountability from the government on soldiers. The bikers are demanding answers for the thousands of missing troops and U.S. prisoners of war. Since it began 4 years ago, Honor Flight Kentucky has flown more than 700 veterans to Washington, D.C., giving them a chance to tour the monuments that honor their service to our country. But at 99 years old, one Lexington vet could not make that flight. So, as Matthew Rand brings us, the organization brought the trip to him.
The ceremony at Central Christian Church in Lexington was a heartfelt salute to one of their own, World War II veteran Carl Mickler.
He was a medic in France and Germany.
And he landed on Omaha Beach after it was secured, but he got to walk the same steps as our brave soldiers did when they first invaded France.
Hundreds of Kentucky veterans like Mickler have taken an honor flight, an all-expenses-paid trip to our nation's capital, visiting monuments commemorating their service to our country.
We refer to them as the greatest generation, and of course they are. And without folks like Carl that endured, served, and sacrificed, we wouldn't enjoy the freedoms that we enjoy today.
But at 99 years old, Mickler couldn't take the flight, so they brought the honor to him.
You epitomize the finest qualities of America's greatest generation. So, Carl, today is your day.
Mickler was presented with pins and proclamations saluting his service.
It declares May 26th, Carl Mickler Day in the city of Lexington, Kentucky.
There was even mail call.
Sound off. Private. Carl Mickler. What?
Mickler says the ceremony meant a lot, though he would have preferred to not receive quite so much attention.
I almost feel like it's too much.
It's a great day for Dad to be honored. I know it takes him back to a lot of memories and things that he also is proud of.
Well, the high point was VE Day. I mean, that was a big deal. But the low points were the wound coming in.
75 years since D-Day, Mickler says memories fade.
History's kind of being lost. And when we're gone, it's just about going to be lost.
Honor Flight Kentucky hopes to preserve that legacy.
It was a group effort for him, and he was proud that every one of his generation stepped up.
Reporting in Lexington, Matthew Rand, WKYT.
Honor Flight Kentucky will have 2 more flights this year in September and October. Well, Memorial Day weekend is about remembering those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. More than 60 years after serving his country in the Korean War, Cincinnati steps up to honor one veteran's service. Hezekiah Perkins died recently and has no family in the area to attend his funeral. Hundreds of people from across the tri-state made sure Perkins was not alone and helped remember the veteran during services at Spring Grove Cemetery.
When we saw that this gentleman served and was going to be buried alone, we couldn't let that happen. He's one of our brothers and we had to be here.
Total strangers took the time out of Memorial Day weekend to make sure this veteran knew his service will never be forgotten. Although his family could not attend the funeral, they were able to watch the services through a video call. It is the unofficial start to summer for many of us, and that means it's time to head out to the lake for boating season. Park rangers at Buckhorn Lake are reminding people that they can still have fun while staying safe. Officials are asking everyone to have a life jacket on board when boating, even if you are a strong swimmer. If you happen to forget your life jacket, the Army Corps of Engineers has you covered.
We have a life jacket loaner program, you can get a life jacket for free. You just sign it out, check it out at our office, the marina, the campgrounds, and we never want anyone to be out without a life jacket.
Southwood says that they are expecting a lot more people to come out and enjoy the lake in the next few weekends. Well, it's 6:41. Let's send it on over to Brandon for a look at your weather this morning. Brandon?
Well, we got to find us a boat so we can get out on the lake because it's going to be a hot one again today. But this morning, fog and clouds. That's the big story. If you're heading out early today, have to go to work like a lot of folks may have to this morning. Just be careful. Seeing the fog back off just a little bit here outside the WIMT studios. Kind of still drifting around the hills there in Whitesburg, but across the region on the sensors, very thick and dense. So be careful. Zero visibility or close to it in a lot of locations. 61 to 68. That's your range. A lot of folks hovering right there in the low to mid 60s across the state. 71 Nashville, 70 Owensboro, 64 Cincinnati, 63 Tri-Cities. Out the door forecast for you this morning. Temperatures not as warm today because of the simple fact that we're going to see the cloud cover this morning, keep the sun at bay for a little bit, but still 86, and it's still going to be a humid day, Will, so just be careful out there and keep your heat precautions in play.
Drink lots of water for sure. Thank you, Brandon. Well, we'll have stories trending on WYMT.com next. As always, thank you for joining us right here on Mountain News this morning.
Retracing the steps of the Apollo 11 astronauts, what scientists and researchers discovered from this orbiter ahead of the 50th anniversary of the lunar landing.